All right, and we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 27. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. As most of you are already aware, the Iron Lords podcast is now part of the Inner Circle Network. And we are very excited moving forward with this great partnership. So shout out to all my TICGN family. But I'm also very excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose content I follow for a long time. I finally had the pleasure to meet this Lord in the flesh at Bethesda's press conference, E3 2016. He always brings positive energy to everything he does, and even if he rubs someone the wrong way with his opinion, he's always open to a civil debate and might even put that championship belt on your shoulder. He is an ambassador for two prominent communities, gaming, and of course, hip hop on your Hot 97 every day. That's my word. I need a drum roll, y'all. Introducing BK Finest, one of the most passionate interviewers in the game, the creator of Shots Fired, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, when he was dead broke and couldn't picture this. My man, Lord Hip Hop, how we doing, sir?
Yo, that was the hottest intro I ever had in my life, son. I feel like I just came off Sway's Universe or some shit, son. This joint is lit right now, son. Yo, thanks for having me on the show, man. I really humbly, I'm just humbled, man. That was incredible. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that, dude. Real talk.
No doubt. I appreciate you, bro. We've been following you for a long time. You've known you for a while. And it was overdue for you to be at the round table with the Lords, and we respect you a lot, man. So we had to royalties in the building. We had to show that proper respect. You know what I mean? So we gonna get into it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. That's crazy.
No doubt. And of course, we have the usual suspects at the round table. My co-host with the co-most, my brother from another mother, and the howl of the young wolf, my man, Lord Attic. How are we doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. Definitely want to take the time out to thank Hip Hop for coming on the show again. It's always nice to have someone with his statue on the show. It's always respectful. Much love.
Dow, thanks, man. Wow, man, this is overwhelming right now, dog. Thank you, man.
You loved out here, bro. You loved.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, and of course, our most technical gaming Lord, the solo gamer who lives for the single-player experience. Semi-offline PS4 Pro Illuminati. My man. Lord Sovereign, how are we doing, sir?
Doing fantastic, man. Great.
Yo,
just watch that Lord of that Game of Thrones leaked episode.
You spoilering.
I said the Iron Lords podcast do not support his
do not support that.
I will not speak about how quiet that episode, but we'll leave it at that.
No
and
doubt.
big shout out to Hip Hop for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Doubt.
Not all up, dog.
And of course, the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than the premium experience.
Ooh.
Including those Switch Amiibos, y'all. Beloved. Lord
Wow.
King, how we doing, sir?
We doing fantastic. Yo, Hip Hop, I told you at that EA event, man, we was gonna link, baby. Yo, this is crazy. We lit, sir.
Yes,
we lit, my dude. Thank you, man. This is crazy.
Yes, man. Yes. Let's do it.
Word, son.
And of course, it is Lord Cognito here, spreading that gaming realness on the ILP, not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So before we get into what the Lords are playing, I want to start off with Lord Hip Hop's video game system history, what inspired the HipHopGamer channel, the belt, and the movement. So let's take it back to the history of hip hop, like your video game system. What was the first one? You know what I mean? Like, let's get into
so, like, if the history is my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? She's the one who introduced me to video games. So I grew up in East New York, Brooklyn, and, I came up in the 80s. So that's the point where you walk down the block, there's nothing but crack on the floor. Like it's like everywhere. It's like it was really that crazy. So my grandmother, keeping me out the streets, keeping me off the streets and stuff. She introduced me to gaming. So the very first game I ever played was Miss Pac-Man on Atari 2600. So that's what got me started in gaming. And then when I played Super Mario Brothers Nintendo, 8-bit. When I played that for the first time, that's when I knew I was a gamer for life. So it was because of Mario. Shout out to Miyamoto. Like that's like what I'm saying. That's what got me like really really hooked on gaming. So fast forward to now. I was watching an episode of G4 TV years back.
Wow,
and I'm a big fan. Yeah, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of
Man,
Adam
I'm pretty sure half the
Sessler.
people in this conversation don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Facts. Well, he's dropping gems
You
right
know
now.
what I'm saying?
Go ahead,
So.
Mhm.
So my thing is with so I was watching Adam Sessler. I'm a big fan of his, and this particular episode, it just felt so. This episode just felt real fake to me. Like how it is when you watching somebody. That's like if KRS-One came out with a whole album talking about like mumble rapping. Like you know what I'm saying? That's not KR. Come on, it's like that's not you, dog. You know what I'm saying? So So like I know him. It was like a Christmas episode where they was doing like a game of the year, and I forgot what his game of the year was, but his reasoning and everything just didn't feel natural. It felt like he had to say that to draw some sales for another company. It just felt that way. It didn't feel real. So I was like, yo, I gotta talk about this. So that's when I started, my YouTube channel, HipHopGamer. The reason why is because I'm a big fan of hip hop and I'm an artist myself, and I've been gaming all my life. So my life was based around hip hop and gaming. So it just made sense that I'd come up with a name that was authentic to who I was as a person. You understand? So that's how that came about. So I made a video. And it was pretty good in terms of the reception that I got based on what I said. It didn't look good, like it didn't look great, but I didn't care. I felt like my value was in what I said, not the way the video looked. So
Absolutely.
So then my man Torrance Davis, who been going to E3 for years and years and years, he discovered me, long story short, he discovered me, and I got a chance to go to E3 in 2008 because of him. And when I went to E3 in 2008, I did some of the biggest interviews ever my first year. And one of them was with Aaron Greenberg, my man, Microsoft executive. That's my dude.
Yeah.
So I did.
Baby.
That was back when we had the Blu-ray versus HD DVD battles and stuff like that. It was crazy. So I did some of the best interviews that like the industry has ever seen.
Facts.
And it was one of those situations where, honestly, real talk, it's like, how this nigga with the belt was able to do this? Like, honestly, like that's the way they looked at it. Like before they respected it, they was like, how did he do that? And then that's when a lot of controversies and things started to build up. But that's what got me in the door. Just my passion and my love and my humbleness, and respect for, the game industry, the people in it, and my love for gaming, period, overall in terms of the culture. So that's like a little backstory on the name and how everything came about and what led me to get known, like, in the industry. So that, that's pretty much that right there. And everything else the rest is history, just being consistent, building more partnerships with companies outside of gaming and growing that way as well.
Nice. Now tell me about the belt, because I'm always curious how that started. And like, it's funny because I'm from the BX, and most of us are from the BX minus
BX stand up, no doubt.
There we go, baby.
So we used to do that with the belt. Like we used to do tournaments with like the old WWE games, Smack.
Word! Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Lord King and Lord Sovereign, Lord Kai Box, Valakan, all those guys. Like we used to we bought the WCW belt. We was like, whoever wins this week goes home with the belt. So when I see you do it, I'm like, yo, that's fire, because someone else started this. You know what I mean? It's like a whole thing. I just want to know like your origin with the whole thing. Like, how did you start that belt?
Got you. So it was two things. So one, my grandmother has always been a champion in my life. Like, for those that don't know, I never met my mom's. You know what I'm saying? I don't know her. She left when I was 2 years old. So I never met my mother. And my father, growing up, we ain't have the best relationship. But, my father was a gangster. You know what I'm saying? It's like real talk. So, like, we didn't always have the best relationship, but he's the reason why I got my tough side. You understand what I'm saying? So, but my grandmother, was my everything. Like she raised me, did everything.
I
So
remember
my
that episode
grandmother,
when you talked about that. I remember that episode.
yeah,
That hit me hard.
absolutely. So so my grandmother is the I see the bell, fam. I see it. I see it, son. I see the bell. Got you, no doubt.
We do this, baby. This
No doubt. So like, so what happened is my grandmother was always my champion. You know what I'm saying? So because she's the reason why I do what I do, I wanted to have something that symbolized me being the best at what I do. So being the best means you're a champion. So it has a double meaning. Me being the best at what I do as a champion, and me honoring my grandmother as being a champion in my life. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what the belt represents. Just taking everything that I love and putting it on its title to represent myself, and also represent my grandma, and also represent the gaming industry, hip hop industry, everything that I'm a part of, as being once I'm involved, you know the best is here.
You already know.
Period.
God bless grandma, because at the end of the day, like I said, she inspired you, and we, like I said, the content you do, it all comes from the heart. It's passionate, and we respect that. And one last question I had to ask you, and obviously from New York City, you know, the Lord's most of us are from New York. You know, we all grew up on that Hot 97. So
appreciate
the importance of that partnership, and I always respected you for that, because like, to me, when I saw you made that move, I'm like, ooh, that's crazy. Like, so talk about that Hot 97 and what that means.
See, when I was trying to talk to a lot of companies, especially Hot 97, because Hot 97, that's the first station that ever started playing hip hop. So it's not all about, let me just find the best deal. I needed Hot 97. I needed to work with them specifically because of what they stood for, what the brand meant to the culture, and being the first. And when you're the first, you're forever. But in this situation, they do it better. Period. So I had to rock with them. So in 2014, I believe, Randy Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg's sister, her and some other people was putting together this event for this Facebook game called Gig It, and they had Rick Ross and 2 Chainz and Nas and everybody come out.
You had Illmatic You had Illmatic?
Yeah, like everybody came out, right? So I got a chance to meet Peter Rosenberg and Ebro and all of them on the red carpet. I was doing coverage, and me and Peter Rosenberg, we didn't do a long interview, but the interview was damn good. It was a real good interview, and his publicist gave me a card, wanted to keep in contact because we wanted to do more on the subject matter that we did the interview on, to extend it. And I was talking to her like, yo, like, anybody that's in the world of entertainment that's not utilizing gaming is losing. It's like trying to be a social media star, but you don't have Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. What are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So, so my thing is, I was explaining to them and telling them about how gaming can be very lucrative in the growth of Hot 97, because you're number one here, so there's nowhere else to go. You're just going to kind of be doing the same thing in the same space. You got to find other territories to take over, like you did in hip hop. So I'm the person that brings the authenticity and the cosign for Hot 97 to be take seriously in this medium. Nice. You understand? So we had a long conversation, and you know, had one meeting. After that one meeting, the deal was done. So so once that happened, we was just talking about how we was going to execute the plan. But behind the scenes, there was a lot of people that was in certain positions. That people got hired, people got fired, things got changed, and he had to reacquaint yourself with new people that was in the position. That it was just a lot of behind the scenes stuff that took place that delayed a lot of things. But you know, God is never late; He's always on time. So you know, we never worried about that. So once certain things got into place, we was able to make it happen. And now, you know, the partnership is stronger than ever. And there's other things going on behind the scenes that, put like this, in October, y'all gonna see something so big with hip hop, Hot 97, and one of the biggest tech companies in the world come together. And I'm the face of it. Put like this, I'll give you a hint. You see my headphones?
Yes. Here we go.
I already see where you going.
There's a G on
exclusive, y'all. We see what hip hop's doing right now.
You already know what's going on. So stay tuned, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be big, man. So you know, I'm just proud of Hot 97 giving me the opportunity to do this and not overlook it like it's just, you know, some random gaming thing. Nah, they took it seriously and they allowing me to lead that charge. So it's going down for real.
That's what's up. Facts, man. Appreciate you dropping that little gem on us. In the chat, we got 33 in the chat, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like. And one of the people in the chat said they like that hat. He must be a Falcons fan, so he's on some rise up right now.
You know what's so funny? Like, true story. I'm not a Falcons fan. I'm a Michael Vick. I'm a Michael Vick fan. But I don't like. From a personal standpoint, I don't like Michael Vick's views on the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, and I feel like Michael Vick is a coon for that. But but in terms of just play skill, like his skill level in the legendary things he did on the field, he's incredible as a football player. So you know that's why I have the Falcons hat on, and you know red is one of my favorite colors, man. Black, red, and white, Chicago Bulls status. You know, so
I'll feel you.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That's what's up, man. I appreciate that. That's dope. And we all remember Vic's Madden ratings back in the day. He was a savage.
It was ridiculous.
He was a cheat code. Yeah, he was. Madden was a cheat code, man.
Yeah, Vic was
He's a cheat code. Word up.
We appreciate you, man. We appreciate that intro and everything, learning about you. So we're gonna get into real quick what the Lord's been playing this week. So let's start off with my co-host, Lord Addict. What you been rocking this week, man? What games you been playing?
I've been pretty much playing Escapist too, and that's and Sunset Overdrive.
Okay, cool.
Sunset Overdrive is hard. I love that joint. I ended that game. That joint's hard. I rock with that.
I'm just looking forward to the credits. It's just not for me, man. It's just not for me. Like I guess I'm more towards like a serious aspect of the game, and it's definitely not a serious aspect. But I will say that I used to say I was not feeling this game. I didn't like the way it looked, but actually putting like 10, 15 hours, it's a good game. It's just I like more serious tone games.
I got you. So you need to play Mafia 3. Like serious shit. Play Mafia 3.
I will.
Word up.
No doubt. All right. And Lord Sav, what have you been playing this week?
Yeah, I've been blazing the Sonic Mania on the Switch, like really, really getting into that Sonic, so I get my Sega card back since it was taken away. And then I've been playing the Uncharted, The Lost Legacy.
Nice.
Early, so yes, sir. That is fantastic.
So you went to Mr. Lee for that?
Nice.
I will not divulge where
I'm trying to set him up. I'm trying to get the feds to run down on him.
I've seen this week as far as his acquisition of media.
Your personal issues of Mr. Lee notwithstanding. I have no idea what you're talking about.
He has knifed the whole gaming industry for years.
The spot in Fordham Road, BX. That we used to get the joints early. You know
You can always count on the hood to hook you up, son.
But he hook you up with one knife in your back while he taking all your money. He'll hook you up.
Yeah, hit you with that price.
He give you that early bird special price.
To be fair, it wasn't there, but that's what I'm going to say.
We're going to leave it at that. Allegedly. So, Lord King, what have you been rocking this week?
I ended that Sonic Mania. Greatest Sonic game made, period. And been playing Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, because everybody said all this stuff about it, so I didn't pick it up at launch, and they said they patched it up, and I started playing it now. I said I'm gonna give this game its due because I'm a Mass Effect dude. Story wise, how it's going is I like how the story's going. Can't front. Okay. Aesthetics wise, when they have their helmets on. Woo! Beautiful, baby. HDR looks fantastic. The gameplay is nice. There's not too much of a departure. It's an extension. When you go land on the worlds, the explorations, all the stuff that we crave for, we asked for, we got it. It was fantastic. So I'm like, okay. Till they start the dialogue. My man with the lazy eyes, yo, I said I can't believe he looks like he's on a Xanax, like all the time, like he has the chill, lazy eyes. He's not looking at anything. He's all disinterested, and it separates you. I feel a disconnect right there. Because before we used to wait for the dialogue tree, listen intently at everything. That's the one aspect. I see they try to fix it because I seen before and after. So I said, man, the only thing they had to do was take off the eyeliner on, dude. And
shout out to Mr. Kerosene in the chat. He said the Mass Effect got dead eye syndrome.
yes, yo, it is no lie, man. It's dead eye syndrome right there. But other than that, I understand why. Went from one engine to the Frostbite engine, and they're learning things over again. So,
and it's the B team.
Yeah,
well, Casey Hudson and the crew.
Well,
I do want to.
Casey Hudson is back, baby. So hopefully we get that Mass Effect Andromeda 2 that we deserve.
I do want to.
We don't want it to die.
I do want to bring something up because I know this is about to be brought up. Eco, do not encourage Lord King's behavior, okay?
Yo, yeah, he said, he got 8 amiibos because of you last week. That's
right. Yo, listen, let me tell you something. If anybody's not buying amiibos, don't shortchange yourself in this life. You definitely need that premium experience. If you have a Switch, it's a premium experience. It takes your Switch game to the next level.
Yeah, Nintendo took the Switch. Nintendo took amiibos to the next level. It's cheat codes for cost.
That's right. If you got that money, buy it.
No doubt. Lord Cognito here this week. It's been a weird week. This is still August is hashtag kill the backlog month for me. I'm a big Destiny fan, so I know once Destiny come out in September, it's gonna be hard for me. So I actually I picked up a good one in the backlog. You know what I played? Transformers Devastation, the Platinum game. Bro, I slept on this game. Like, if you're a fan of G1 hip hop, like Transformers G1 with the old Optimus, the old Devastator, the art style is this game is beautiful. And I'm sitting there and I was happy, but I was sad because I was just thinking about Scalebound. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I'm just thinking about, because it's such a stylish action game. You know what I'm saying, with the Autobots and stuff like that, and graphically it's beautiful, man. So it's just it really hit my heart, what could have been, you know what I mean, as far as Scalebound and stuff. But
absolutely,
Scalebound I played that. A very good PowerPoint guy.
Absolutely. And I knocked out some Telltale stuff. What's up, Attic?
You definitely should go in there about your little vendetta you got with that achievement system, because you're getting a little out of control right now, man. I think I might have to, there got to be some kind of help for people like you.
Put me on blast right quick. Yeah, shout out to Mikey Barra right now. I got beef with Mikey Barra because I'm trying to win August achievements. August in Xbox, and he keep buying these easy achievement games, trying to creep up on my score.
so obviously you know how B do it. Lord Cognito be like, all right, you want to come at me with the bull games? Crack out that wallet, and we gonna do it.
My money long, so I had to buy some certain games that I might have.
There we go. That's that me and Mr. High stuff. Yeah. I like this. I like to give a shout out to boxing last night. We have, you had Terrence Bud Crawford versus Ndongo last night. Boxing was lit last night. We have one unified champion. Shout out to Terrence Bud Crawford for that left hook to the body.
Oh my God.
It was a thing of beauty. It was so beautiful that happened. Combat sports this year is at the all-time high. And next fight we got Conor McGregor versus Floyd Money Mayweather. The world's gonna stand up that night. It's gonna be so lit that night.
I want to say something real quick. I just want to say everybody that's in the chat and everything, because I know we live right now. But please, humbly, just asking, please support me on that, because I fly out to Vegas next week to do the entire coverage with everything. So I will have Mayweather and McGregor on the show. So please show some support. Please show support. I'm gonna hook you
up with something before you fly out. We link up.
You gotta let them hold the belt, man. You gotta let them hold the belt.
You can get a hold of McGregor and put that belt on his shoulder.
Right, you gonna be
that's
with
the only
money
belt
team?
That's gonna be on his shoulder from boxing.
I know, that's why I said it. I said, let him touch that belt, because that's the only belt he gonna touch.
That's the only belt he gonna touch. Yeah, you know that.
Show Conor some love. I got love for Island.
There's that possibility.
I like Conor, but I like Mayweather way better. Floyd is my guy.
There's that
Yeah.
possibility you won't get that interview with Mayweather because he's gonna be in the hospital for getting
Oh, y'all
knocked
starting
out.
trouble. Leave that man alone. Yo, we gonna get into it. We'll move on.
All right, back to reality. Let's get back to this.
We're gonna get into it. So we got some hot topics for the round table. You know what I mean? So we're gonna start off with the group topic, and the July NPDs are in. And the Nintendo Switch has one NPD for July 2017, as well as Splatoon 2 as the #1 game. And also, what I thought was kind of interesting was that in the top 10, you had Splatoon 2 at 1. We had Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at 5, and I believe we had Mario Kart at 7. So I want to bring this topic to the round table of the Lords as far as July's NPD. What do we feel about that? And I want to actually start off with hip-hop because I don't know if hip-hop is Switch gang or not. I'm going to assume not, but I want to know what's going on with hip-hop on this.
Nah, well, for me, I'm a gamer gang, dog. Like, all I do is I am the game industry. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Talk that talk. Let's go.
I probably got way more games than any other journalist in this industry. Period. I got like over 20,000 games and 100,000 more coming. All right. Emulators or not, whatever people can say what they want. I got it all. You understand what I'm saying? I got stuff that people never even seen or heard of before. Yo, let me just so y'all can understand. Like, I ain't playing. Like, look at my, like, I got a 75-inch Vizio P series. This is the only 4K TV on the market that has a 240 hertz refresh rate. It's better than the Samsung Q7F. It's better than the Sony A1E OLED. And it's better than the
coming for your throat, D.
Actually, he's coming for me, but I got the Q9.
Listen. Look at him out. Q9, Q7, it don't matter. The refresh rate ain't ready for mine. So let's stay.
That's true.
If you really want to keep it real gangster,
I got the 80-inch though.
Wait, say it again?
I said I got the 80-inch Q9 though.
You got a bigger version of something that's not better than mine. That's like having the Q9. Nah, listen. Let me explain something to y'all. Like I could get a sharp Aquos that's like 88 inches, but it still don't. It's not just about the size; it's about the quality.
Oh yeah, I got the sharp Aquos downstairs. I got that. That's the 75-inch downstairs.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't rock with that. That joint, the sharp Aquos, is an embarrassment in my opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? That joint is weak, son. But listen, like what I'm trying to tell you, seriously, what I'm trying to explain to you is like I have a partnership with B&H Photo Store. You know what I'm saying?
So talk about the Jordan 34.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I have a partnership. So they send me TVs, they send me computers. I get a chance to swap out and switch and do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to explain to y'all is I get a chance to test out everything. I'm waiting for CES so I can test out the new 2018 joints of everything. And I'm telling you, when you're playing, like for example, I got a CPU that's coming. They got 2 GeForce GTX 1080s in it, and I'm gonna put that up.
I got that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So you already know what 4K 60 and all the other stuff really look like. So you need the right. You need to
cut you. Hip-hop.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question. Reference to the TV you're talking about. Because as a gamer and an FPS guy, I need to know that input lag situation because that is critical for me. If
listen.
This TV, you know what I mean?
Listen, let me explain something to y'all with this whole input lag thing. Like a lot of this stuff be like blown out of proportion. Like, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like, so with this particular TV, I don't remember what the input lag is off the top of my head, but I could play the game. It feel great. It feels smooth. It's popping. Now I'm gonna prove something else. I've been to tournaments where I would play on a BenQ TV. They got like the crazy refresh rate in terms of the response time. And then I could go home and play on my TV with the post-processing on so that the smoothness is right so you don't get that whack-ass blur and stuff like that when you turn it around and still have a great time and people so what you have to understand is this. If you have 16.66 ms and you could go to vsync.com or you can go to blurbusters.com and really test your TV out. As long as you have a consistent frame timing
Yeah.
you will always have a game that feels great and responsive and you could do damage. The only time you're going to have input lag is when you have bad frame timing, because frame timing creates an inconsistency of the feel of the game. That's all that is.
Now, let me
So a lot
ask you
of
this
people is trying to
question.
sell you on marketing, and that's not the case.
Now, in reference to the frame timing that you mentioned, like, is that a what's the word I'm looking for? Is that a trackable statistic when comparing these newer TVs? See, that's you got to give me that information, because when we link up after the show,
you can track it.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, we'll link up. You can track it. Okay. I track it, and you know what I'm saying. So you know, like a lot of people in the hood don't, like a lot of people in the game industry don't think that people in the hood know something like that.
TVs and stuff.
That's not what I do, son. Yeah,
that's what's up,
That's what I do, son. So now, but anyway, back to the question about the Switch games. I play everything, dog. I don't care what it is. If it's a game, give it to me. I've been playing a whole bunch of Rolling Sky on my phone. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I game, son. I don't care what it is, son. I play, but anyway, what I will say, what I've been playing lately, Madden 18 is one of the best football games ever made. Period. So and simply because you did, all right, cool. Yes, the story mode alone takes Madden NFL as a franchise in a whole new direction. Just the story mode alone. I never felt anything with Madden before that would possibly make a person want to cry. Like, the game is that great. The actors, come on, man, they got Cottonmouth in that joint from Luke Cage. Come on, man, they got Cottonmouth in that joint. So this game is amazing, man. It's amazing, and I see where they're going with it. The gameplay, everything is amazing. I just wish that what you experienced in the story, that same level of energy and care was put into the regular game from a presentation standpoint. But other than that, the game is incredible, way better than last year's. So I props to Rex and everybody for the jump, for year-over-year jump. They did a hell of a job. That's one. Two, on top of Madden, me playing that game, Agents of Mayhem is the most underrated game. I'm gonna tell you how great Agents of Mayhem is.
Let me ask you a question, HipHop, real quick. Let me ask you a question.
What's up,
Do you think Agent of Mayhem is the reason why Crackdown 3 got delayed?
Real talk, Microsoft will probably never admit to that, but I believe so. After playing it, I believe so wholeheartedly. Agents of Mayhem is flawless. I could damn near probably get that game a 10. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this game at all, from the graphics to the gameplay, the gunplay, the uniqueness in story, the uniqueness in each character, how you could build up your agents, edit them in terms of your squad, the abilities that's unique to the personality. So that's what I love about the game. Like, based off the personality, you could tell that the abilities that they chose to give the actual characters relate to how their personality is. Nah, sir, it's deep. It's crazy. It's the open world, all of that. You can drive it, you do everything. It's crazy. But the reason why I'm so hyped about Agents of Mayhem is because, to me, it's like how J. Cole was able to go platinum without no features. Like, Agents of Mayhem, to me, is one of those games that was able to dominate, and it didn't even have a big marketing budget. It's one of those situations where it don't matter whether I have marketing or not. The moment you play it, you know I'm the truth. That's how great Agents of Mayhem is. So I've been playing Agents of Mayhem, Madden, and in terms of my throwback, I played a little bit of X-Men: Children of the Atom.
Okay, no doubt. Now, I want to bring it back real quick, because I know we went left a little bit, but I want to bring it back to, again, the July NPD. I know you got everything, but my question
okay,
reference to the Switch and its success and its beating the PS4 right now in terms of the sales when it has stock. Do you think this is going to continue? And another question I have in reference to November, that's a big month, right? We have the Xbox One X dropping.
Right.
You know, Nintendo will have Mario. Sony's going to have the crazy bundles. You know what I mean? With there's exclusive third-party marketing deals that's dropping. So the combination about the Switch, how you think it's going to do then, and also what your reaction is now that it's actually winning NPD.
Okay, so with the whole Switch, like, none of this, I try to tell people all the time, none of this stuff is impressive at this point. It hasn't even been out a full year yet. You understand what I'm saying? It's not fully impressive at the moment, all right? Like, Nintendo Switch, what's happening is supposed to happen. This is no surprise. We talking about Nintendo here. They got, like, this year, this time around, the marketing was way better, so people understood what's going on. They had the killer app in terms of Legend of Zelda was incredible. ARMS is dope. I love ARMS. That game is fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
you know, Mario Kart is out, so that's the killer app, and you got Mario Odyssey to look forward to at the end of the year. And it's a decent price for what you get, and it's the only system that you could take with you. You know what I'm saying? So they have a lot of things going for them, but at the same time, what I tell people, like, let's have this conversation, like,
how long?
It's 2017. Let's have this conversation in 2019.
Okay, so
and I want to see them still do that.
So even if because 2018, they don't get no love. Lord hip hop, they get no
love. No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is this, right? When if you look at let's look at it for how it's really happening. Like I love dissecting shit. Okay, so here's the deal. If you look at Nintendo Switch, right, and if you look at the Wii U in comparison, like they're similar in terms of how they started. You're right. The Nintendo Switch has a little edge. Yeah, a little edge.
They're around the same sales mark too.
But they're not doing that much different in terms of the impact that it had in terms of the initial time frame that it came out. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is you got the Xbox One X coming out later this year. So you got to factor that in because that's going to be the next new thing. PS4 is going to be dropping price soon, and you got all these other games that's coming out in terms of Call of Duty, Destiny, and Star Wars. These games aren't on the Switch. They're not on the Switch. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, what's happening now is exciting. It is good for the Switch, but it's not so different from in terms of parity between what we saw with the Wii U when they first came out and did their thing. So I feel like people is trying to over hype it because they don't want to see the Wii U repeat itself with the Switch. So they're trying to do damage control. You don't have to. Nintendo is always going to be all right. They print money. They good. And they're not trying to directly compete with a PlayStation or whatever. They have their own world that they live in, and they're doing good. But talk to me in 2019 where we can see what it's like year over year. If year over year they have significant growth, then it's something to talk about.
Okay, so right now
we don't even know.
In all sense, what you're really saying is like we need to see them at least pass the Wii U before we talk.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you, man. Like y'all, like people jumping the gun, and you know what it's like. You know, this is what it's like. It's like somebody that comes out with an album, right? They have a great first week sales, and they feel like they shit gonna pop off for the rest of their life. And they, like, you know what I'm saying? No, you might be a one hit wonder, and we ain't gonna hear from you no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, people just gotta chill because the problem is sometimes it's just like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was a game that had all this hype, but the hype was bigger than the actual game itself, and the hype hurt them more than helped them in the long run. So let Nintendo do Nintendo. Don't start talking about, hey, they're passing PS4. PS4 is at 60 million, 70 million systems. You can't talk about, you can't even speak of PlayStation at this point. They're in a whole nother league. But when the moment you start mentioning Sony and Nintendo in the same sentence right now, you know what's going to happen? PlayStation's going to be like, oh, so you thought you was actually competing with me? Okay, watch this. Come on, let Nintendo do Nintendo. You got to be smart about this.
So Lord Hip Hop is looking at the long term. Let me get the rest of the Lords in right quick. July NPD. Lord, you know, anybody can jump in. What's everybody feeling with these results?
When it comes down to it, you know, they do have hype going into. They got Mario Odyssey coming up here soon. Rabbids comes out the week after next. You know, they still off, you know, the ARMS. They're still off the Mario Kart. I mean, there are stuff to buy on the Switch, regardless what people say. But, you know, I do have the same thing that, you know, Lord Hip Hop says. It's just like, you know, we see them having a lot of support for the brand as of right now, the product. And, you know, it's looking like they have a lot of support going in the future. But it's like, you know, you told me this with the Wii U too, and you stopped that at 2-3 years in. So I got to see more of their overall plan in the long run before I start saying if they're going to be an overall success.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you. Lord Saw, what do you feel about this July NPD results in the Switch?
mean, I agree that people generally tend to like jump the gun on being super excited about the system, but I will say this to kind of differentiate a little bit. I just think that the talk around the Switch and people's perception of the Switch is a lot more positive than the Wii U even at launch.
Facts.
Wii U
Facts.
3 months into the life of the Wii U, people were really sick about like the gamepad not being super responsive, the resolution on the gamepad. There were things about it even before the system came out.
The biggest thing the biggest thing that helps the Switch over the Wii U pad,
portability.
It's not even, portability really helps, but it's the overall aesthetics. Like if this would have came out last year with that Wii U pad, it wouldn't be the same thing because the Switch feels good in your hand. That gamepad felt awkward in my hand. Even if that was portable, it would have still felt.
Yeah, that's not a portable thing. That thing, no matter what you do, like you
I'm talking about if they took that design, made it portable, it wouldn't.
Right. It wasn't really portable. Like you could go sit on the toilet and play while you were playing in your house, but that's about as far as you could go with that.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah, that was it. So for me,
not if your toilet was upstairs.
Yeah, you need a line of sight for that, right?
You had to be very clear about where your toilet ratio from your TV was.
If your toilet is close to the TV, you can play. Otherwise, and even then, you will get fuzziness and will start to break up. So that was
50 in the chat, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Okay, slow song. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, honestly, I think if the systems are out there and you see what they do, they drop systems close to the releases of their big games. They did it for Splatoon. They're going to do it for Mario Rabbids. Damn sure they're going to do it for Mario Odyssey. So you're going to see the system. So if they have systems in the wild, I think they're going to be winning NPD straight through.
Yeah. So your main thing is like the supply. That's if they have supply, you feel.
My thing is the supply because, again, it's like HipHop said, the X1X is going to be the new hot thing in November, but it's also $500. That's not everybody's buying that system. Like, a lot of people come in. If the Switch is out there and you have a choice and you already have a PS4
with that Mario,
But here's what I would say. Here's what I would say to that. It's two things. See, like in the game industry, you got to understand how it relates to the tech industry. So with all these people that's spending money, like for example, when Black Friday come and everybody's buying 4K TVs, 50 inches for like $300, $400, they buying that because they want to play Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro on them. Like, not because they want to play the Switch on them. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying, I'm just saying, I'm not saying nobody's gonna buy the Switch, but what I want you to understand is from a business standpoint, you gotta also understand the relation on why people buy this. And the reason why they buy this is so they could have the Xbox One X and PC and PS4 Pro at the highest possible, system that they could play it on in terms of TV and setups and things of that nature. Switch doesn't live in that category because that's not what they're trying to be. So I'm not saying it's going to stop their sales. They're still going to sell. But when that Xbox One X drop and it is the new thing, people are saving up money to get the best possible experience they can. Like when NBA 2K drop and when you have WWE 2K drop and all just in the fall, there's a lot of heavy hitters that's not coming to Switch. Switch got Mario and that's good, but as much as we love Mario, you gotta understand the kids growing up nowadays, they're not growing up off of Mario. They're growing up off of Call of Duty. They're growing up off of Destiny. They're growing up off of these games. So
Nintendo's trying to cater to an audience that no longer caters to them.
Yeah, so we're gonna go crazy over Mario. We're gonna jump. Yeah.
I think it reflects something totally different. Not to cut you off.
The people. Yeah, go ahead.
I feel the NPDs show you that is a clear vision in Nintendo now, opposed to the Wii U. I have a Wii U. It was cumbersome. It was last gen when it came out. This is still last gen as far as the tech goes, but it's savvy about it. You understand? You when you're sitting there, two controllers. The value in the package is what people are seeing. And as long as it's available, it's going to sell. I think if it's available, every month it will outsell all of them every month, especially the Xbox One X, even though we will be in the minority. Us 4K, you sold your television 4K, people was like, oh my God, right? Yeah, but they still have that 1080p television. And until it reaches a critical mass point where price versus value equates, I can go to the store and purchase, it's not going to be there. You don't even need a television for the Switch. You can just go in and purchase a Switch and get your game on. And then when you do purchase a television, a regular smegular, you throw it on it and you get your game on.
I do
I have a
want.
question.
I do want.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do.
No, but I just feel that MPDs showed that Nintendo has a clear vision, where the vision with the Wii U was muddled. It was muddled. It was convoluted. The same way with Xbox. Remember that muddled and convoluted stuff had them stumble and fall back?
Yeah, we're going to get into that too on one of the other topics.
Right. This is the fact that this is like a PlayStation type of thing. Very clear, very concise. We're about the games. We're about this. They said we're about the portability and the games. We're not about 4K. You can jump in, anybody. So on the go, here you go. 2 people. It shows value. That's why it's selling. It's not selling for anything other than value for price of dollar.
I feel, Lord Attic, you want to jump in real quick?
I feel like who's going to win November is going to come on Black Friday. I feel like if Nintendo doesn't have the stock by the end of that month, they're not winning that month. Because once Black Friday, I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, they take Black Friday serious and give like 2 shipments to every retail that they could possibly think of. But this is Nintendo we're talking about. I don't know if they're actually having legit stocking issues, or they're trying to give that, you know, bait and switch thing. Oh, we don't have much bite when you do see it. So, you know, that's besides the point. But you got it. Now look, Xbox One X is going to be the new. It's going to be the new tech on the market on that November. It is, you know, if you look at it from a perspective of every potential person who bought the original Xbox One for $500 is a potential to go buy it again, because that's your hardcore base for the Microsoft brand. Them are probably repeat customers. And it sold like, what, 2.5 million the first month? So, I mean, obviously, you're not going to get 2.5 million again. That's absurd. But I wouldn't be surprised if you get at least half of them buy the console again.
Gotcha. No,
Well, I will say this. You said. Wait, I just want to get this correct. So you think that Nintendo is going to outsell everybody in America for the rest of the year?
Oh no, I'm not gonna go there. No. We're not going there.
Okay, all right. Because your initial words was you feel that Nintendo's gonna outsell all of them, you know, in the NPDs, throughout. So in my mind, I just wanted to make sure you knew what you said, because I would put money. I
would put money on the line. We're a big fan here of hip hop of ILP bets, and we're gonna create a segment called Bend the Knee. And the segment basically is just, it's all in fun. There's no disrespect.
Of course,
it's, you know what I'm saying. It's all in fun. Basically, what it is November we know is a big month, right? So let's debut Bend the Knee right now. So for all the people and all the lords at the round table, including Lord Hip Hop, who feel, you know what I'm saying, that either who's going to win MPD in November, whether it be Xbox, Nintendo, Sony, you know what I mean? So my thing is, I feel if Nintendo has the stock and that Mario, which drops at October 27th, which is technically November, right? It's the last couple of days. So that means if they have the stock and they have Mario available, I don't even think they need to bundle it, because at the end of the day, I know people who
I'll take that bet.
Wait for Nintendo. So I'm rolling with you. Here the ILP first. I'm going with Nintendo has a stock. I'm not even going to say Nintendo. I'm going to go with it.
I'm going with Xbox. I'm going with Xbox, and I'm talking about Xbox as a brand. Because I know they're going to drop their price down to $150, and then everybody going to have an S.
I need you right now. The ILP bet, who you feel is winning that November? I need it right here.
November? Honestly, I really believe that and win it just because they're gonna have the biggest marketing hype around their entire franchise and their entire brand for this year. And in terms of history, every system that has had that type of hype around it simply because of excitement has dominated like that month. So strategically, if you're a betting person, I think you would bet on Xbox for the November month.
If you look at it,
that's what I would say.
If you look at
but I'm not saying Xbox One X like that because it comes out on the 7th. So I'm saying Xbox, like the brand Xbox One X, One S,
it's gonna
all this other shit, everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all of that. I'm also going with Xbox. But my only issue is that because Destiny is coming out and Call of Duty's coming out and Sony has those partnerships and those bundles and that white PlayStation 4 Pro.
It's a hard one, right? It's a hard one.
that joint is hard. That joint is hard. So the reason why ultimately I would go November because I feel like a lot of people are gonna be saving their money to put most of that money into the Xbox because the combination of Black Friday, 4K TVs, Xbox One X, and honestly, I'm gonna tell you.
Talk to me.
Like when you see some games, not all games, but when you see Shadow of War, when you see Assassin's Creed Origins,
yes sir.
When you see Madden.
Oh yeah.
When you see these games running on Xbox One X, wow! Look, I played Xbox One X 2 days ago. Dude, it's unless you have a PC already.
Yeah.
Xbox One X, dude.
Yo, coming from you, hip hop. That's huge. Coming from you, that's all I need to hear. So look, we go real quick. Let's get round table. We're going a little overtime with this topic. Real quick, Lord Soft, Lord Addict. Remember, Bend the Knee segment debuts right now. Who had everyone running with Lord King? I need all your answers right quick so I can document.
Xbox, man.
I'm going Xbox. Yeah,
I got. I mean, look at it from.
If the units are there, I'm going Nintendo. So I'm going Nintendo.
They could. I honestly, I'm
hip hop. You sided on
Xbox. I'm Xbox.
Yeah, and Addict, what you had?
I'm going Xbox. Even if Nintendo has stock, I don't think they're beating them.
Yeah, they're not gonna come close.
We gonna revisit. We gonna revisit in November. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we have a fun little segment. We gonna find out.
You mean December?
Yeah, December. I'm sorry. December. Somebody need gonna touch that canvas.
Look. We got to move on to the next topic because obviously we're behind a little bit and we got a lot of topics to cover and it's a lit show. So I'm gonna get in unfortunately for the Destiny 2 Edge information. I'll get into that next week. Y'all don't worry. We're gonna revisit. Destiny's always here. But I want to give it to Lord Addict. Got to talk some Crackdown, the aftermath. Let's talk to me, Lord Addict. What's going on?
So as of you guys know, Crackdown got delayed. There's a lot of speculation that it's following the same path that Scalebound followed before it got canceled. So what I want to know is your overall thoughts on Crackdown being delayed, and if you guys think it's actually going to get canceled, or do you guys think that it was legitimately just delayed, or the announcement that it was canceled just got delayed?
No doubt. Anybody can jump in, y'all.
Go get it. So check this out. I'm gonna keep it 100. Like the behind the scenes, like a lot of people wasn't feeling Crackdown, and there's a lot riding on this game from a financial standpoint. So what they're trying to do is recreate new hype and new stuff. So the next time you see Crackdown, I believe you're gonna see Terry Crews' character fully in it. You're gonna see like maybe a to get people hyped all over again so that they can feel good about spending this money. Now, what Microsoft and everybody has to understand, which I know they understand, is that there's so many other great games on the market at all times throughout the year that as good as your game is or might be, nobody need it. I could go so many places to get great games. So that means that it's more detrimental now for your game to be successful and have social media type of hype. Like you want your games to start memes and stuff like that. Like, you want your game to really create a cult following. Like, you understand what I'm saying? That's what's going to... Go ahead, my bad.
I'm sorry. You don't want your game to end up following Mass Effect, where it's dead before it comes out because of memes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you understand, cool factor is everything. Cool factor. Like, look, when Xbox 360 came out and they had to connect, a lot of people didn't even use. You saw Connect on Oprah, all right? You saw Connect on Ellen. Like, it was so cool to have that everybody wanted it, even if they didn't know why they wanted it. They just wanted to have it so they didn't feel left out of the conversation. You understand? So I feel like they're going to do that, and Terry Crews is going to have a big part of the marketing, so that's why they had. Come on, you know it's serious when you got people tweeting out saying the only reason why people are giving this game even half of a team.
It's because of the Terry Crews thing.
Saying, well, the Terry Crews tweeted back saying, "So what? Buy it, bitch." Like, that's what Terry Crews said. So my thing is, if it got to the point where that type of stuff is happening, come on, man, you gotta read. Yeah, so it got delayed because of a lot of things. They was gonna get your whole investment would have went down the toilet if they would have released it now. Period.
Let me jump.
And it wasn't. Hold up. And at E3, it wasn't even that impressive.
Yeah.
So that is. Oh man, yeah, like nah, they gotta redo. And then they've been talking about the shit for so long, and the destruction and all this other stuff. Like, listen, your first impression, you never get a second chance at a first impression. You feel me? And all of their first impressions has not been great. So they have to recreate the first impression by showing you something that was so unexpected from the game that will make you go from one extreme to another in terms of your thought towards it. Thanks.
I'm gonna jump in right quick. I mean, I agree with a lot what Lord Hip Hop is saying. I think, I think the first initial impressions of the game were not good. They were not solid. You know, I personally was not impressed. I did not like the animation of the character when his feet were actually running on the floor. I pointed out to Lord King a bunch of times when he was in E3. You know, to me, no disrespect, it looked like an up-resed version of the older titles. I didn't see anything next gen to me. There was nothing that said, you know, this is why I need to buy the system. Not saying it wasn't going to be fun, that kind of thing. And then, like you said, Lord Hip, the key thing was when they debuted this thing a while back, they talked about full destruction. And the fact that they were so secretive, they wouldn't show anything on it. And, you know, shout out to Lord B Money and stuff, a couple other people from Tick. We were like, yo, maybe this thing ain't ready. And to be honest, now that the news came out, Lord Attic, with your topic, I'm happy it got delayed, because at the end of the day, even if Crackdown was the hottest thing on the street, even if it was great, you're putting it out November 7th. You're putting it out between Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty. That game would have been sent to die. It would have been a Rise of the Tomb Raider situation. It would have been a Titanfall 2 situation. So ultimately, let that thing survive into 2018 when it has a window to itself, it has a month to itself, and they can polish up the game, do what they got to do, and let it see, but that's what
here's the problem though. Here's the problem, son. In 2018, like right off the bat, they about to hit you with God of War. So like that's gonna be. I understand. Like it's oh man, so they just got it's just too much. It's too much, man.
I understand. You know, in my personal opinion, I'd rather compete against God of War, Days Gone on another platform than compete with big AAA titles that's also on my platform.
You know what I'm not understanding?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm not understanding? We said this a couple of shows ago. We out like we cried for it to happen. We said Microsoft don't put this game out. We said it.
Yeah.
So now that it's done, everybody's like, but no, but. We said move it.
I'm happy.
They listen. They listen to the show. Shout out to Aaron Greenberg. I know you listen. And shout out to Mikey Bearer. Shout out to and Phil We Trust. We know Phil listening. When I talk to you on the side, you ask my impressions on stuff. Listen, when I was there, I wasn't overwhelmed by the game. Felt like a remaster. They took the temperature of the room. They had a closed environment where gamers were able to sit down and play. They checked the enthusiasm on each game. If you were ranking your games from 1 to 10, it came at an 11. It came out of the pack. It wasn't even in the bunch. People weren't sitting down playing it. They looked at it initially. I touched. My curiosity got the best of me. Lord Cognito's curiosity was not touching it.
You know, I had distinct face. I had to walk away. I was like,
even on 4K monitors, even on 1080s, and you know, because it wasn't running off the system, and they were running off of 1080s off the PC. Listen, the game had serious problems, no destructibility. Push it back. Let the game breathe in the spring. We've noticed that games in the springtime seem to thrive. They give it a little bit more legs. I honestly believe, just like Lord Hip Hop just said, Agents of Mayhem, it came out and it was like, oh my God. Somebody popped that disc in. They popped that disc in. They say, yo, push that back. Push that back. It was the next day.
Let me get Lord Sovereign here, y'all. We ain't get Lord Sovereign opinion.
Yes, get Sovereign in.
What's up, baby?
I think it's just that fatalist mentality, because I completely agree that the game had no business coming out in November. No matter what. It has no business. Look, November is reserved for set games. There's certain games that come out at that time, and that's it.
Call of Duty, Destiny.
Exactly.
Battlefield, like, you know, certain games can survive.
Even Destiny, it's like, you know what? You can have that November to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come out in September just to be on the safe side. I don't want to be around any of that. Crackdown, I don't care if you're launching. I don't care how great it would have looked. It does not belong there, period. Right? Yeah. So then what happens is, once it gets delayed, then you have some people with this fatalist mentality, like, oh, Xbox One X has nothing now. And going back to what hip-hop said, that's ridiculous. Like, going back to what hip-hop said, it would have gotten drowned out anyway. Like, for somebody to say, listen, that's the only thing I was looking forward to, and now I'm not buying an X, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's so much other stuff that look 10 times better on the X, and we saw that E3, Assassin's Creed, Wolfenstein, Mortal, all of this stuff to show off your system with. This game, the only chance this game had to survive is to get kicked out of November and pushed back. Because at the end of the day, a bad game is bad forever. A delayed game can only get better. Can only get better. And the fact of the matter is that one thing that Microsoft, I don't think could really have survived. I mean, they would have survived it, but it would have been hard, is to drop another subpar game. Something in the vein like a Quantum Break or something that was not, you know, it's not exactly what people wanted. And
you know what's so messed up? I love that game too. I love
aspects of that game. I love aspects of that game. But to me, I'm thinking of it as that's a Remedy game. That's Max Payne. Max Payne runs circles around the shooting in that game. It runs circles.
I think when that Xbox One X comes out and I get that bump and that resolution, I'm going to love it even more. Because I'm going right back to play it.
And that's another thing. And that's another thing we talked about. Recore. We're going to get a definitive edition of Recore where it's going to be finally finished. It's going to be 4K. It's going to be 60. Now.
Yeah, but.
Go ahead. Get in here, Bob.
So, like, I'm going to just keep it a buck, son. You already know, kid. Like, me personally, man, I really feel that Xbox, they. Damn, man, like Xbox 360, right? Listen, Xbox 360, like, you had Xbox Live, which was amazing, and there was excitement around it. You actually had exclusives. I don't mean play anywhere. I mean actually exclusives. Like, there was this culture around Xbox, just like how PlayStation got a culture around them, PlayStation Nation and Nintendo. Even now, you got a culture, Switch gang. Like, it's like they create, like, Xbox is just Xbox. It's like it's not what it was. So to me, I really feel that at this point, no matter what Xbox do, it's not about how much power they got. Actually, it's not even about having certain games, because I could play all their games somewhere else, all of them. You know what I'm saying? I think their biggest issue is they have poor messaging, which broke the relationship with their end user.
They have literally no idea.
Herpes. Yep. Xbox gave their customer service, their customers herpes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, son. They heard their audience, kid.
Do me solid, because you're touching on something that we're going to touch on in another topic, and I want you to hold that thought for a second.
All right, cool. Got you.
You literally are hitting the head, and also on something that I'm going to poll too. But we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you.
Yeah, let's
got
go.
Move on. I gotta speed it up a little bit, y'all, because we got a lot of topics.
Let me go over this real
Go
quick.
ahead, Addict.
Okay, a lot of people are really skeptical when it comes to Crackdown getting delayed. It's like Lord Sovereign said, like anyone who's saying they ain't gonna pick up an X because Crackdown got delayed, they were not picking up an X anyway. Yeah. I think this is good for the franchise itself. I think it's good for multiple reasons. I think it's good because you're getting away from that November holiday title. It's like what Lord Hip Hop said. They are competing with Sony's exclusives, but it's on two different platforms, and it's not a Battlefront 2 weeks later, an Assassin's Creed a week before that, a Call of Duty a week after that. And one thing that I do is, by the time, I think this is good for the Crackdown franchise itself, because as of right now, Crackdown is the game that's like, if it doesn't make the X feel worth it, it's done. Yeah. But by the time this game comes out, the hype for X is going to be over. So Crackdown will literally be able to stand up and be like, oh, I don't have to ride the X. I could literally just be a game.
I don't have to put it on my shoulders, right? I don't have to put it on my shoulders.
That game wasn't even in my purchase category as far as all the stuff that was coming out. I told y'all already. Assassin's Creed is A1 on the list.
Yeah, serious. Serious.
Listen, look, I got footage of Assassin's Creed that I'm gonna release. I gotta figure out when the embargo is. I think August 24th.
Okay, I can't wait, bro. Can't wait.
Dude,
so we're gonna speed up just a little because we got the Gamescom conference at us at 3, so we got to move on a little.
Oh yeah,
bit.
We gotta hurry up because we gotta pre-order our Xbox.
But I gotta move a little faster than I would like to. So I apologize. I apologize ahead of time. But we're gonna move on.
The face on hip hop there was priceless, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, the face is classic. So, would you mind if we skip the Gamescom a little bit because of the fact that we're gonna actually talk about it again, or you want to jump in the?
Okay. I mean, we can do it at the end and just give predictions.
We'll do it at the end.
Just give predictions.
Like really quick predictions right before the show starts. Like, yeah, that's fine.
All right, no doubt. I'm going to jump in. Since Lord Hip Hop touched on this, I want to expand on what he talked about, and I wanted to bring into a topic to the round table, basically what he kind of expounded on. So right now, a lot of people are going down and saying that 2017 for Xbox right now, the year of the L. So what I want to bring to the round table.
Everybody had their times of year of the L's.
No doubt. Now, what I want to bring to the round table.
Nintendo had like 4 years.
Because of 2017, with the lack of exclusives and the fiasco, right? I want you to compare this versus 2013, which was the Xbox One reveal, the mixed messaging, the DRM, that whole stuff. So
we got a system for you called the 360.
I won't bring it to the round table. That was a good one. You put the Dawn in there. You threw the Dawn Patrick under the. We're gonna bring it to the round table. In your opinion, the year of the L, which is the worst year? Lord Hip Hop, I'm bringing it back to you since you started this subject matter.
Well, I would say this is the worst year, and the reason why I say this is the worst year is because in 2013 they was just coming out, and all the stuff that took place, you would think that they have learned a lot, and which they have. Phil Spencer has done a much better job than Downmetric building things back up. But the problem is, in the process of building up, they still be taking steps back, making the same mistakes. So you in business, in life, with people, you got smart people and you got wise people and you got people that's smart that make dumb mistakes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I feel like Xbox is in that situation where they are smart, but they just make silly mistakes. Gotcha. And like, for example, why the hell would you come out saying 4K in 2016, 4K, no compromises, 60 hertz. It's the I told you console. It's the I heard. No, it's the I heard you. You ain't hear shit. Only 2 games is going 4K 60 on your joint. Assassin's Creed Origins is not 4K 60. I'm telling you. And because I play on PC so much, I could tell from playing the game where they had to sacrifice in any console game. So my thing is, I'm like, your whole marketing campaign is a lie. The whole marketing campaign. So my thing is, if you look at 2013, that should come in.
Okay.
I definitely
They
want to
didn't
tackle
learn
next.
a lot. So to me, I feel like this is worse because they knew better and they made too many mistakes for them to be who they are. That's like if Michael Jordan turned the ball over 3 times, which gave him 3 rings instead of 6. You Michael Jordan, certain mistakes you don't make. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you trying to be the GOAT. And Xbox, with their experience, they came out in 2001, homie. Come on, man. Certain people aren't allowed to have certain excuses.
Got you. So even Lord Hip Hop, I just want to bring it back to you one time. So even with the whole DRM fiasco, the used games, we have a 360, that to you is still, this is worse than having the lack of exclusives.
This is worse because you knew better. That's like if I tell you that there's an alligator right here and he will bite your shit off, right? And you tell me, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen, and this dude bites your shit off. And then next year, you gonna let this dude bite your shit off again? Yo, son, don't even come to my house. No food, no friendship, no nothing. Like nothing. Like, come on, man.
Because they should have known what they were dealing with.
Yeah, there's no excuse for this.
Sony's a beast right now, and your mentality is what is going on because you know what you're dealing with.
Look how Sony learned from Sony learned so much from PS3 that PS4 is on brink to being their best system ever, even over PS2, because they learned. Xbox One was their learning process. Where's the redemption? Like they falling deep in the hole. Nintendo. They learned a lot from Wii U. Why do you think this is just a better general energy around it in terms of positive talk? Come on, man. You got to learn.
Okay.
Period.
I want to get the Lords in this. Lord King.
All right. Let me tell you something. This generation, Microsoft is the Meek Mills of this. And I'm gonna explain why they the Meek Mills of this. Yo, this dude just got arrested off a video he posted the other day on some other stuff. Microsoft can't get out of their way. No matter how right they try to go, something always goes left. No matter what. This is the right move was to put out this system. But the messaging was a little off, uncompromised. Who put uncompromised in the caption? They should have said that. You understand? What they should have said was the best 4K experience.
Yes,
you know what the best 4K experience.
I don't even think they should have said 4K experience.
No, what
they should have marketed as the strongest console ever to exist. They
no,
didn't even
they have to say 4K. Because 4K
you gotta say 4K. You gotta say 4K. It is. It's a buzzword. I agree. You gotta say 4K.
You gotta touch 4K, but say 4K experience. Like Sony said, dynamic 4K.
I see where you're going.
You gotta say the best 4K experience. Okay,
right? Because they put themselves in a position by saying uncompromised. When you say uncompromised, now when the digital foundry articles come out and you're hearing checkerboarding, everyone's got that face. But go ahead.
So Sony is the Drake of this. Now Meek Mill pointed out in the beginning, somebody's writing his stuff. Nobody can. And he just kept soaring. You understand? Yeah. So Meek Mill dropped his joint. Nobody's listening, bro. Like whatever you saying, we are the Meek Mills. Don't count. We got a hold this L. You understand? We gotta get it together. We got to hold this L. This system is gonna come out. This system is gonna do what it's gonna do. Make sure your messaging is clear. Don't look like you're lying to the public. Don't look like you're trying to mislead the public. The best thing that they did was move Crackdown. They heard you say, no, that ain't it, bro. And so instead of taking the L, they got that out of there. So just like Lord Hip Hop said, they need to learn. Remember, this is Phil's learning process. The S was a removal of Don Matrix's ugly system. So the S,
it's a regime change.
Right, the S fixed that. We got to understand, it was a regime change. There was no real regime change at Sony. It was just a constant machine pushing forward.
Yeah.
We got to get this
And they
machine
learned
moving
from the
forward.
360 era. They actually improved their
Exactly.
online. If you look at the PS4,
They learned
the
from the
online
360.
infrastructure is mimics a lot of what the 360 did. So they learned from that PS3 era.
They took the battle strategy. They took the you know, how to win this war. 50 laws of power, 58 laws of power. They used it. What Microsoft is using now is, remember, they're a step behind because it's a regime change. It's a whole different philosophy. It's no longer TV. It's about power. It's about taking back control. So what Phil is doing is, he didn't like what Scalebound looked like. Man, come on, everybody tell the truth, man. Scalebound had stutters and it was inconsistent and it missed messages.
No, but I like where it was going. There's no game on the market right now that was quite like that, so it would have been a great look for Xbox to have something like that. It would have been a clear-cut differentiator of like, well, something Xbox got this. Exactly, that's important. Because like if you look at Sony, like Sony got so much variety that you just can match them for every area. Come on, dude, from the VR to Little Big Planet and Dreams and shit. Then they got they got too much different stuff that you just never seen before.
The diversity in Sony's portfolio.
And then you got Death Stranding. You got Death Stranding coming, Spider-Man coming, God of War coming, Days Gone coming. I'll slap myself just to wake up this the dream, son. It don't make no sense, son. This is like if somebody poured some lemonade titty juice on water and mixed it up and told you to drink it.
Hip hop. Let me ask you a question. A question. Now we're saying all of this, right? If Microsoft's message was right in the beginning, because remember, everybody predicted it to destroy Sony. There would be no Days Gone. Their days will be gone. Because Microsoft would have came out and they would have did what they're supposed to do, but we have ebbs and flows. And just like Lord Sovereign said last episode, I believe these dudes is in cahoots. We do not subscribe to that philosophy at ILP, but I'm telling you, I believe they in cahoots. I believe they said you gonna win this.
I gotta get addict. I gotta get solved.
Apparently, you can pre-order the X at the Microsoft store right now.
Yeah. Right now it's live.
That's the Microsoft store.
Just at the Microsoft.
Store. Okay. All right. Cool. Lord Sob, I need you on this, man.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I gotta go with 2013 is the bigger L, and I'm gonna tell you
Facts.
why.
I'm with you on that one. Facts.
I'm gonna tell you why. 2013, the messaging coming out of Xbox. This is the whole company saying, "Yeah, this is what we're gonna do. DRM. We're gonna be watching you all the time. Forget about your used games." Like this was the company line coming out of there. I'm sure there are plenty of people. Who didn't agree with that line. But again, when that's the company line, you gotta fall in line, and and that's what it is. So to me, the fact that they were trying to come at Xbox gamers with that. The fact that they were trying to come at I think that was egregious to me. That was really egregious to me. Now, when you look at 2017, like the thing is that we notice about with Xbox and with PlayStation is that Xbox doesn't get away with what PlayStation can, and maybe that's a condition.
I'm live, but I'm on an interview or podcast.
Keep going, bro.
My bad.
Maybe that's a condition of you being in second place, because Sony can get away with funky marketing, lying about specific things that their systems can and can't do, or giving colorful descriptions about what their systems can and can't do. Because they're in first place, they get away with that. In second place, you can't really get away with that because you're going to get scrutinized. But to be honest, if you look at everything that Phil's tried to do with Xbox, with Game Pass, with back compat, with the prices dropping, with Play Anywhere, like there's a lot of positivity around it. The only thing, it just gets superseded.
They've been extremely pro-consumer this whole generation.
Exactly, they've been absolutely pro-consumer. So, are they taking an L anyway? Yes, absolutely. You can't really say they're not taking an L anyway. But the fact of the matter is that the intention is not there. The intention to not do well by the consumer isn't there. Whereas in 2013, that's the way it felt. Like that was hubris, and you're gonna eat this, and that's that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, Lord Saab, I'm with you. I mean, I'll jump in right quick too. I mean, I feel that, you know, once Don Matrick jumped on that stage, it was a whole bunch of TV, NFL Connect, and then shout out to the chat, because the chat is on it with Quinyo, Mr. Kerosene. Like, I'll never forget, to me, the most moment is when you had Yoshida and them and say, okay, this is how we trade used games. It was over at that point. That was when they hit Microsoft with the back-to-back Drake song. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that was it. You couldn't recover from that. They had such a PR hit and negativity. And like Lord King, me and you talked about this. Make no mistake, if we remember that day like it was yesterday, that Sony press conference got delayed like an hour before its normal start time.
20 minutes.
Right. And that was, and they said it. They said, can we remove the DRM? Can we remove the camera? They looked at all the mistakes Microsoft made, and they got that out of there, had the smooth price. So you had the cheaper system, didn't have the DRM, you had the public behind them, and then you find out that it's a little bit more powerful, right? With the GDR, what is it, the GDR?
Well, they had the same exact system minus the RAM and the stuff like that.
Right.
Me and Lord Cognito knows that they pushed back because the leaked documentation, the white paper came out. They had all that stuff in there, and that's why when you booted up your system for the first time, it took you 20 hours to get that DRM off.
So the whole
It still takes forever to boot up anything on Xbox.
The whole point of what I'm trying to say, y'all, is that to me, because of that culture and because of that negative energy, and people were so angry at Xbox, that to this day they are still doing a mea culpa. They're still in recovery mode when Phil took over. So to me, this is just the after. I'm not saying 2017. I'm not minimizing it, hip hop. 2017 is not a good look from an exclusive standpoint. You're completely right about that. I won't take that away from you. All I'm saying is that I think we got led here because of 2013. That's just my feeling on it. But Lord Attic, I want to get you, and then we'll give it back to hip hop, and then we'll move on.
I feel like it has to be 2013. And the only reason I say that, 2017 might be bad because, you know, we've had very few retail games. But I feel like out of the overall, what was worse for Xbox was the reason we're where we are now. Because if they would have came out and, you know, that Xbox launched how it should have launched without that reveal, just the E3 and a better reveal, who knows what would be happening? You know, the hype would have been towards Xbox, you know, because at the end of the, you know, last generation, it was about even. You know, they both had pretty good hype going into the next gen, and it's like I've said multiple times. You know, I feel like Sony has a lot to thank for their domination this generation. For The Last of Us, ending with The Last of Us, and Microsoft didn't really end with anything spectacular. And Destiny, picking up Destiny at the beginning of the generation.
Oh, that was huge.
And, you know, coming into 2013, Microsoft dropped the ball so much that it was unrecoverable. You know, let's say that they came out, did everything they were supposed to, and, you know, they were doing really good. You know, let's say maybe Microsoft wouldn't be winning, you know, NPDs or anything like that, but it was closer. It was more, you know, it was so, you know, the brand would be more faithful towards Xbox, and we could be getting games in 2017 if 2013 went different.
No doubt. I feel, Lord Hip Hop, I'm gonna let you respond to what we said real quick if you're still there. I seen you in the whip stunting, but I want to see.
No, I'm not even trying to stunt.
I'm messing with you.
Because I have to just you know, on a side note. My bad. I'm so sorry, y'all. Now, see what happened is let me find. All right, cool. So what happened is I just want to give a shout out to my boy Donnie. Donnie was he was in a coma last year, and he came out of his coma. He beat cancer, and he's a hardcore gamer. He's actually a fan of mine, and I made a video last year tell him to get well and get better, and we're gonna play games, and I'm gonna see you soon. And Lord allowed him to live another day and be with us, so I'm about to go drop off a whole bunch of video games to him, take some pictures and stuff like that. So I do gotta get ready and go, because I have to follow the GPS on my phone. But one, I just want to thank y'all for having me on here, and I think that after Gamescom, we should probably do like a follow-up Even if it's tonight, if
Yeah,
y'all
we'll do
want to
it
do it tonight,
We'll do it
after
tonight.
power though, after power, after power, son. After power, facts.
At the power? I
After
got
power. Let's get on the joint tonight
Okay.
and just have a follow up to what took place at Gamescom and just finish up this show because the fans
Absolutely.
deserve a finished show, and I still had some other stuff to say based on what I just said. So
Yo,
but I do got
hip hop. Not
Yeah.
for nothing. I gotta see you before you fly out to Vegas. So me and you gonna link. I'm gonna hit you off with some stuff, and send you on your way. Have a nice trip. All right.
Dope.
All right, cool. So we gotta do that ASAP because I leave Tuesday
I
morning,
got you.
son. So
I see you. I see you Monday. I drive to Brooklyn.
absolutely.
I'm in BK all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And hip hop, I appreciate what you're doing for your boy. Like that's love, man. That's
man.
That's what's up.
That's
We
love.
appreciate you. We definitely will revisit. Don't even worry about. You could jump out if you got to. You know what I mean? Don't even worry about it, man. We know.
All right, cool. I appreciate y'all, man. So I'm so
Absolutely.
sorry about that. So look, God bless, love you guys, and also just to give you a little heads up, I'm working on some tournament stuff for the later part of the year, dealing with B&H to launch the next year. So just stay tuned, man. I have this big New York City takeover that I want to do with a lot of us because I want people to see
we on the
us
same
in a whole
wavelength.
new light. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like we don't only play 2K. All right? We don't only play these games. We play everything. So I'm about to really change the narrative in a major way, and there's a lot of people helping me out with that. So we're gonna talk soon on a whole nother level behind the scenes. All right. So thank you. God bless. I appreciate it.
God bless.
All right.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Always, man.
Peace.
God bless, Addict. Y'all be good.
Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, bro. Catch you
What
later.
up?
So,
Peace.
Yes, we'll continue. We'll just finish up real quick. Now the hip hop's got to roll out. I just wanted to go since we'll do a part 2, King and Saw. We'll save what the Gamescom stuff. We'll do that post.
Well, I feel like we can do.
We can finish the show on
just a real quick.
Yeah.
Just a real quick of what we think could possibly come to Gamescom.
Yeah, definitely. Let's give it back to Solve then. Gamescom predictions on that. And actually, before we give
I'm sorry. I have to interrupt for 5 seconds.
Sure, go for it.
Itachi Uchiha, you my man. Okay.
Yeah, the chat says that.
Yeah, that's my dude. I don't even know him, but his name is all I need to know.
No doubt. Appreciate you in the chat. Yo, appreciate everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. Real quick, I actually forgot the last week poll results real quick, but we'll do all that. Solve. Let's get into these Gamescom predictions. What are we thinking?
Yeah, man. So with Crackdown being delayed, obviously that's not going to be a centerpiece of whatever they talk about at Gamescom. So what do we think is coming? How do they kind of soften the blow? Is there anything secret that we think might be talked about that we haven't heard about? So my thinking, just to jump right into it immediately, is that they need to lean into all the games, third-party stuff that looks fantastic on the system, like we just talked about, Assassin's Creed, Wolfenstein, Mordor. They need to really lean into how much better those games look on the X1X in order to push that. Also, they need to lean into Cuphead and how great Cuphead looks. Hopefully, they have some more stuff to talk about. They need to really lean into all the smaller indie stuff that they showed at E3 that we got to play on the show floor. They're gonna have to, bring those games up, the battle chasers and all that other stuff, make that stuff really shine and make it, again, give people the impression that it looks and runs best on their system. And hopefully, we don't know how much of that stuff's coming out this year, but hopefully a decent amount of it.
You said Halo Wars DLC. I'm done.
No, I'm serious. Serious. The expansion's coming out and they haven't announced a release date.
Done. Continue, Lord Solve.
And then, so there were two specific leaks. I know they wanted to announce the Project Scorpio edition, and it's all out in the streets now, so that's not a big surprise anymore. That would have been a nice thing, but whatever. They'll still announce it and get the reaction to that. Two specific leaks that I saw that could be interesting. There is something called Codename Hollywood that's supposed to be. There's no indication what kind of game that is. It has like a placeholder release date for 2017.
It's a farming simulator.
No, it could possibly be. So, I mean, that could be an interesting thing if it's actually something real that they're ready to show off. That could be exciting. Another game that got leaked by a German magazine, and shout out to Destructoid, where I saw this, a game from THQ Nordic, the same guys that are doing the Darksiders games. It's called Biomutant, and it's basically like an open world action RPG. Again, it's coming out for everybody, but again, who knows if Microsoft maybe has some kind of lead-in with that, it'll be on their stage. So again, they need to lean into what we already know and give us reasons why that X, to purchase that X, because you know, and Forza, of course, Forza.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't want to get my hopes up. You know, I know there's some leaks going on. I seen the Minecraft system going on out there that look pretty good. Obviously, a lot of people already know about this Project Scorpio edition. I am very excited about that because I always loved that name, and I didn't like the Xbox One X name. So me personally, if that is true, which it looks like it is, you know, I'm hyped for that. I'm gonna be honest. You know, Phil's not gonna be there. I'm not saying they won't have anything, but I will say to Lord Addict's point, and Lord Addict's, he's turning my mentality around, because he's like, look, man, if they're telling us the Crackdown announcement, you know, as far as it being delayed, if they're telling that before the show, that means they most likely might have something. And there may be some truth to that, kind of like with the E3 mentality. You get the bad news out first, right? And then when the show jumps off, you hit them with the surprises and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a chance that that could happen, you know, but I'm going to keep it very reserved. You know what I mean? You know, if shout out to Requeno in the chat, he's saying like, hey, if they do something like PUBG exclusive, oh yeah, the trumpets will blare. I would say, hey, that's a great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that. Yeah, PUBG exclusive.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, that's just my mentality on it. You know, Lord King, Lord Addict, where y'all guys at with it?
I think that for some reason I have a feeling Crackdown's not going to be at Gamescom.
Oh no, it's not going to be. Shout out to Lord Disney.
I think that's the reason that they announced it, you know, before pre-show, because they know people are going to ask why isn't it at Gamescom, and then they're going to automatically assume it's been canceled, this and that. So I do think that's one of the reasons. I think we might get a Recore 2 announcement. Because
the definitive.
No, I'm talking about a Recore 2. I think they might come out there, show a trailer, and say, and right now, at the end of this month, you can get Recore the definitive edition.
Okay.
But I mean, besides that, that's all I can really think that they would announce. Like, I don't see anything huge. I hope they don't come out there and just say, "Yo, you can pre-order today. Oh, and you can get the special Scorpio edition. See at E3." I hope they don't do that.
Lord King, what do you need to see?
No,
I believe they're gonna do.
Needs to be shown. Sorry, Dizzy. See if these needs to be shown. They need to show that Ray Kraken thing they keep talking about.
We'll see. Lord King.
All right, so I just think they're gonna show more of the same. They're gonna give you price point. PUBG, they need to ride that wave if they're smart. Ride that wave in. I don't care if it equates to a loss, but get that game up and running, get people excited about that game and that system, and let that be your pushing point. Go in, like Lord Sovereign said, on those little games we wanted to know more about, like the PC Gaming Show showed us more about. Like they took a more intimate experience of it. Show more, let people see more of what we have to offer. And I keep saying we, like I don't have multiple systems, but what you know Microsoft has to offer, because my blood is green. Let's keep it 100%.
We can have preferences without being fanboys.
Right. So show what you have to offer.
Blood is green, and so is his money.
So you know that if my money was blue, that'd be disgusting. But
you would be a foreigner if your money was blue.
So what we have that's different, because Sony, like Lord Hip Hop was saying, the diversity is crazy, but they got a chance to cultivate that. You know, this regime is starting from square one. There's no cultivation here. So a lot of stuff from behind the scenes was pushed to the edges and pushed to the side. Gamescom, they said, you know, from E3, wait to Gamescom. So we're going to get the Age of Empires in depth. We're going to get, I hope it's play anyway. I hope it's on Xbox. Yeah. I hope it's on Xbox.
Shout out to Lord Dizzy in the chat. He's saying there's a lot of rumors, hints going on. Cliffy B made some cryptic tweets as far as lawbreakers. So
Cliffy B has no choice. Let me tell you something right now. This is what happens when you go.
Oh, Dizzy's coming for your neck right now, Lord King of the chat. He's like, in-game preview is going to debut.
Yeah, that's telling fantastic, Dizzy. Ha ha. Bye. Anyway, listen, Cliffy B. This is what happens when you chase the bag. You chased the bag and you fell on your head. The bag didn't feel good, right? Now the X is coming out. Now you want to come back home. The door's open. Bring the game over here. We're going to show you what the shit it did. And next time you don't go over there chasing bags.
So you feel that if that is the case, you feel that Cliffy B's motivation is more because of the failure.
He got to save face. He got to save face. Right now, he looks like a fool because he was talking all this crap about Overwatch and all these other games. My game is this, and you're hubris, bro. You're down to earth now, right? Look at you. You flop. You went straight plastic. You didn't even go wood, my dude. You went straight plastic. So now let's tuck your tail. Let's tuck your tail. Let's get in that Honda. Put the Ferrari back inside the driveway. Get in that Honda. Let's get back to the core of who you are.
He's gonna have to sell that game to make up for the loss he made in that game.
Man, he took a huge L. Talking all that. How you gonna talk about the king throwing rocks at the throwing? Your arms are too short to box with God. They smacked you down. They wasn't even paying you. Your game went plastic.
Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this thing
up.
But
I do have one thing someone said in the comment section. Do you think a PUBG coming out today would be tremendous?
Yes.
That would be insane.
PUBG exclusive? Oh, it's huge.
Download PUBG right now? What?
I'll be downstairs right now.
PUBG is a PC phenomenon right now. And that's one of the few exclusives that Microsoft has this year.
I'll be bending the knee to the King of the North right now, and I'll be sending you your little package gift money.
Thank you, sir.
Lord Dizzy, you get your little package gift too, and we'll all be playing right now. Go ahead, please, Microsoft.
All I have to say is you lucky I wasn't in that podcast.
You wouldn't have took the bet anyway because you would have been you would have been too backed up with that bet with Lord Cognito.
It don't matter what bet
you had a bet that you could have. You could have took a bet, Mr. Scared Money. Scared money don't make no money.
It don't matter.
Scared money don't make no money.
Keep interrupting me. It don't matter. It does not matter.
We can't hear you. Your pockets are afraid.
It does not matter.
Listen, if your pockets are so scared, you need to get a dog.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Never mind.
Lord Addict, finish what you got to say. We got 10 minutes, y'all, and then we're gonna wrap this.
It does not matter any kind of deal me and Lord Cognito had because that was guaranteed.
He wasn't ready.
In the house. Shout out to Lord Brap in the building.
Yes,
that's my guy right there.
Shout out to Brap. What's good, baby?
Arcade podcast.
Lord King just mad because he has to bend the knee.
Yo, real quick, we got 10 minutes. We got to finish because everybody's gonna watch Gamescom.
You mad because you ain't get a free game?
I am mad. The one time I got on this podcast,
look at you over here trying to. Please, Patton, sir. Would you please put some more porridge in my bowl?
Let's be real. Let's be real here, Lord King.
Lord Addict. I'm gonna gift you the game. I'm gonna gift you the game. Since you got your hands out, I'm gonna gift it.
I'd bend the knee.
I know. You do anything for a free game.
Bend the knee. And on that note, we're gonna do these polls. Y'all. We got 10 minutes. All right. So last week's poll results are in. The people have spoken to the question: with franchises like Titanfall, Mass Effect, and PUBG that were initially exclusive to Xbox, Microsoft should develop their own first-party studios instead. Group. They were the winner at 55% strong in one of the most intense ILP Twitter polls ever. The group who said Microsoft should pay to keep those exclusives finished up at a razor close 45%. So it was real hard fought, y'all. Thanks to over damn near 500 plus who participated in the poll. You know what I'm saying? Those ILP mentions were lit. We want to salute y'all. Thank y'all. It was a lot of engagement. We appreciate that. Real quick, what do the Lords think about that? People want Microsoft to develop their own first-party studios instead. It was close, though.
Yeah, I was part of that crowd. We have to build that culture. If we don't build that culture, we're just gonna die out.
Yeah, I feel you. Lord Saab, what do you feel about that with the results?
Same thing. I mean, again, it just got to be a balance, man. Invest in things that you know will do well in your system, but you need to invest in your own. I mean, we've talked about the numbers and stuff in the past, how the numbers don't necessarily match up with first party exclusives, but it's a differentiating thing. You need to have that. It just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how much it sells. You need to have an identity, and they don't in that regard. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, shout out to going to the chat. We are doing Gamescom. Lord Attic, what was your feeling on the poll, real quick?
I feel like, look, I'd love for them to go out and make, these extravagant studios, and they need to, but people need to understand, even if they do, this is not a process that's done in 5 to 10 years. Look how long it took for Naughty Dog to build up to the Colossus as it is.
Facts.
Look how long it took DICE. Look how long it took Rare. Most of the talent in this industry is already employed by other people.
Hey,
so I want them to do it, but at the end of the day, their best bet is to do it slowly. Maybe start with 1 to 2 studios, but give them a little bit to make some B-rated titles. Don't let them make because if you give them a AAA title budget and they flop on the first one, studio gone.
Yeah.
So they need to build them up, and they need to. It takes years. They need to. These people don't work out well. You got to go. Here's some more people. Try these people. I mean, it took Naughty Dog like 15 years. They worked on 6 games.
Yeah. No, good points. All right, y'all. We got 8 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up. We got one more thing I want to talk about, which is the last thing is actually the new poll for this week. And this one was actually shout out to Lord McCaffrey. This was inspired by him. And I was watching an old Xbox boss's interview. So this is going to be a regime and leadership question as far as Xbox. So whose model and vision for Xbox do we prefer the most? Multiple choice question. A, the calm, long-term game vision and services approach of Phil Spencer, our Lord and Savior. B, the aggressive E3 tattoos for exclusive high budget spending, Peter Moore. Or C, the big budget marketing, games and high TV and media approach of the Don.
And we got a console for you. It's the 360.
And the Connect, the Don himself, Patrick. So that is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote. Hit them ILP Twitter polls up. I'm going to try to get that up during Gamescom or after Gamescom, most likely. And like I said, thank you guys for voting for the last joint. So I'm looking forward to this one to see what everybody feels about Xbox leadership and the regimes and where they feel that's going. So yeah, man, please, like I said, shout out to everybody in the chat today. All 50. Y'all still 50 strong. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Shout out to Victor Elstone, Peter Moore all the way. I'm a Peter Moore guy. Look, guys in there. Brap is in there, Peter Moore. Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
I like Peter Moore, but I'm gonna have to go with Phil. We trust, baby.
You go with our Lord and Savior, Phil.
Yes, man.
Team Moore.
You gotta bend that knee, man. You gotta bend that knee.
I will say this in Lord King's defense. Phil Spencer is what I call. He had to adopt a retarded child that was given to him.
Yeah, man. He had to make it look pretty.
I say this. I go back and I defer to a Godfather quote. It was like, I go with Peter Moore because you're in wartime right now, and you need a wartime consigliere. That's what you need. You need Peter Moore in there.
You know what? I would go with Peter Moore because you would go with Peter Moore feeling that was our best time. That was our winning time. Yeah. But Phil hasn't had that space, that room to breathe. But what he's shown you is strategically.
Hey, but Phil Spencer. hey, I will say this before we end.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer brought us the preview program.
No doubt.
Yes. Listen. He brought Games Pass. He brought you that blue that 4K Blu-ray that's inside your box. He brought you a better system. He's strategic. He's moving in the shadows while moving in the daylight, man.
5 minutes, y'all. We got to wrap up.
Phil Spencer is a day walker. He's moving in the shadows and he's moving in the daytime, man. Come on,
General
man.
Moore, baby. General Moore. Victor Alstein in the chat. Yo, let's wrap this up in 5 minutes. So, yo, thank everyone for our debut on the Inner Circle Network for listening. Y'all was strong out here, man. I'm like overwhelmed by the love. You know, hit that like, that subscribe to the ILP on all our media outlets, the Inner Circle, YouTube. You know, we're still on iTunes and SoundCloud. We're in transition with that, but we still have that up. So you can still search for Iron Lords Podcast on that. Real quick, we'll do our outro. Lord Addict, my brother from another mother, what you got going on?
About to watch Gamescom. Pass.
No doubt.
So.
Boom. Lord Sovereign, what
Same
can the fine people find you?
PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, Lord Sov ILP.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk later about Gamescom.
No doubt, Lord King, the premium talk with HipHopGamer today. Had me
That's my dude, man. We're
gonna do a part two, y'all.
Baby.
Part two with hip-hop, y'all.
Listen, man, you can find me on the usual places, all social media. But this Gamescom about to happen.
Yeah, we got 3 minutes to game time, y'all. And this is Lord Cognito here. We gave you that game winner. Shout out to HipHopGamer, still coming through despite all his obligations. We're gonna give y'all part 2 to that. Stay tuned. Most likely after Power, I'll check out the ILP Twitter tonight.
I already saw him Power.
Yeah, I know. For the people that got the app, they're good. But for others, you know, and remember our Game of Thrones people. But on that note, thank you for our debut out here, showing us support. We're going to get ready for Gamescom. We're going to give you our impressions of that later tonight as well. And on that note, we are out. Peace.